Hello and welcome to Precious Memory Box's Junk Journaling. And today I have a little project for you. I saw this project on Natasha from Treasure Books. So the inspiration of this is from her. And then I'm going to be working with Pam from Silver and Sparkles. I'm going to be working with her kit, Layers of Spring. And this is such a beautiful kit with lots of butterflies. Here's a few of the pages that I hadn't cut yet, but it's a nice kit. Lots of beautiful butterflies and botanicals in it. So go check that out. I will have the links below. And then also, I'm excited because I am part of Pam's new design team. So she's chosen a design team to help showcase her digitals that she's making. So make sure you go check out that post. And if I remember, I will link everyone down below that has a YouTube channel so you can check that out. Everyone is also on Instagram. So, go like and follow, subscribe, and see what the team is doing with Pam's Digitals. And soon, which I'm even more excited about, is Pam and I will be doing a collaboration together. We're each going to create a journal from her new kit, Meadow Blooms. So that is also in her Etsy shop. And go check that out down below. I'll leave a link for you, okay? All right, I've already kind of pre-folded my paper so that I could know that I had it correct. But what I did is I cut down one of the 8.5 by 11s to 8 by 8. So you need a square piece of paper to do this. You can do 12 by 12, 8 by 8, 6 by 6, and even 4 by 4. And what you're going to do, decide which side you want to be your front or your outside, and then this will be the inside. And what I did is I folded the papers over, and you want to line them up as close as you can to even, and then crease them in both directions. So I did that, and then I inked them so that it'll be a little easier to see because my page is so light that it's hard to see where the line is. So I went ahead and inked them a little bit with some green ink. And then I'm going to take my ruler, and since this is an 8 by 8, I'm going to measure in from the corner. I'm going to measure in 4 inches, and I'm just going to put a little mark right there, just enough that I can see it. And then I'm going to come over here and do the same thing. Line it up on the 4. Okay, and just put a little mark there. All right. So whatever size paper you're using, you're going to do this. So if it was 12 by 12, you would be marking it at 6 and 6. Since it's 8 by 8, we're doing 4 and 4. If you had 6 by 6, you would do it at 3 and 3. So pretty easy to remember. All right, so I'm just going to take and put my finger there. That's kind of how far I want it to fold over. There's a little gnat in here. He's driving me nuts. All right, so I'm going to line that up right on the line, the center line there, and press my paper down. And then I'll go ahead and I'm going to do that with the other side. All right, so let me kind of make sure I'm getting that in the right place. There we go. All right. So we're going to have a little bit of excess, and all we're going to do is you can fold this back and cut it off. That'll help keep it from being bulky. I am using copy paperweight paper because if you use a cardstock or even a heavy cardstock, it's going to be too bulky. All right, and then we're going to come over here. Now you could fold this over if you want, or you can crease it there and then cut it. And I think that's what I'll do. So I'm just going to cut that off. There we go. All right. And then for our ends, we're going to fold this in half, and again, match up your top and your sides as best you can. Sorry if my table is rocking a little bit. All right, I'm going to fold that down. You may have to get your bone folder out and press it so that you don't have any crinkles in there. All right, and then I need to do something with these tips. So I'm going to decide, take my ruler, and maybe, so my edges are right here, and I'm just going to come up a little bit and then kind of crease that over. Okay? And that way we can just glue these down. Let me grab my glue. All right. And this is kind of like a, kind of like in a tea bag shape, like in a tag shape, but something you see everyone likes to make it Christmas time, and that is tea bag holders, and that's kind of what the shape reminds you of, but also the shape of a tag. All right, I'm going to go ahead and line that up and glue it down. And right there you can see where we're forming pockets. So we've got a pocket here, and we can have a pocket here. You've got a pocket here, and you'll be able to make one there. So right there, we've got our tag shape. And so I didn't quite get the butterfly, perfectly positioned, but I just love the jewel tone green that we're seeing there. And I folded that one down just a little bit more, so, and I've already glued it. That's all right. We're just going to go with it. It'll be okay. Or you can kind of try to correct it a little bit with your fold. But I like that. Okay, as far as gluing it down, we're just going to glue a T right here, and part of that reason is we don't want it, we don't want to make everything so stiff that you won't be able to put things in it. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that down, fold it right there. And one thing you can do is, while that's drying, is fold it in half. And that is bothering me that is longer. I'm going to see if I can still pull this up without tearing it too much. Just do it slowly. All right, and we're going to fold it just a tad bit more and see if that helps it meet. We can cover that with something. There we go. We can cover that up a little bit, and we'll put something decorative on it to help cover that up. All right. Oops, didn't get my point in the center. Gotta watch what I'm doing here. There we go. All right. And so there is our tea bag shape. All right. Next, what we're gonna do is, I have some different things that I also pulled out of the kit that maybe we can decorate with a little bit. So we'll kind of look at that, decide what we want to do while we're letting that dry. I also cut out some tags from the kit. These had a fancier top on them, but I kind of wanted them to be a more like a smaller journaling card. And we've got some, we can go ahead and round the edges, so let's do that. And these are just something we can add. Or you can punch a hole in the center if you want, and tie a ribbon. I kind of wanted them to look like journaling cards, so. And then we'll do that here in a minute. We can take a moment and ink those. I've also got this large tag, And I just printed a neutral from the kit on the back. And I've got this one. Those are nice like they are. And then here's a ticket I cut from the kit, a couple tickets, and some larger tags. Now these tags, I can already tell, are too big. But let me check here. I think if we just trim them down a little bit, I think they'll work. So we may do that here in a minute. So we'll have to trim quite a bit off, but I think that's okay. We will figure it out. We'll just make them slightly smaller. Had I done a 12 by 12, they would have fit in there perfectly. And let's see, I've got a punch here. I'm going to see if it will work for the butterflies. Nope, it looks like it's a little bit too small for them. So I want to cut out at least one of those for the front. And I'm really thinking I like this one here at the top. Here we go. All right, I like that. And then let's see. We also have this strip right here. I'm going to trim it down and kind of use it on here as some edging. All right. So let's see how we want to use that. I'm going to cut that off there. And let's see. I think we're going to cut this off right here. There we go. I like that. And then I also have from the kit, I have some words. Let's find a word we would like to use. All right. And let's see. We've got this butterfly. I'm thinking again I want to round the edges. Let me use a smaller one here. I don't know why, but when the corners are rounded to me, it just makes me feel like it's a more finished look. So we can have that there. Let's see which word we would like to use. Let's see, we've got empowered, resilient. I always think of when I see butterflies, I always think of the word, resilient, because they form from a caterpillar into this beautiful flying creature. And so that is a word that definitely comes to mind for me. And let's see, where did our ink go? We'll just ink around that. All right, so we've got that. I'm going to use this one, I think, on the back. I'm going to ink around this. There we go, and I might ink around the edge of this real quick just to give it a little color. Sorry if I'm out of camera there. And we're going to go around to the back side. There we go. All right, so we're going to go ahead and glue this down here. There we go. And I think we'll put resilient right there. I'm wondering, should we add something else? Nope, that's too big. So let's just put resilient here. There we go. All right. Let's see what we want to do on the inside. So maybe, definitely we could add our tickets in here. And I'm just going to ink them again and put them in the smaller pockets on each side. There we go. So I'll have one on each side there. All right. We're going to take these, since our other tags are a little big, and we're going to add them to the pocket. And we may even have to cut these a little bit, because I think they might be a little long, because when we fold our thing here, we don't want anything sticking out the top. So let me cut these just ever so slightly. Trying to decide where I want to cut them at. I hate to lose the number on that one. Where did my other one go? So let's cut part of the top on this one. All right. And I think I'm going to go about right there, and we'll see if that works. It's about an inch. We'll see if that works, and then we'll round our corners again. And that's still just slightly too long. Let's round the corners and see if that works. All right, let's see. Perfect. Okay, so let me grab the other one. And unfortunately, we're going to lose part of our number a little bit, maybe. Yeah, looks like the whole thing. Okay. Let me round those corners. There we go. All right, so we've got for each corner. What did I do with my other one? Or did I stick them both in the same? I did. Stick them both in the same one. All right. Make sure it'll still bend. We didn't push them too far down in there. All right. And we can turn these around so we can see the butterflies in there. I bent that one slightly. So you do have to watch how far you stick them down in your pockets. Okay. And there we go. That one is just ever so slightly sticking out. There we go. Just needed a little readjustment. Let's see. I still want something at the top here. That actually looks pretty good. So let's add this at the top. And I'm just going to slide it under there. There we go. That looks really good. All right. We need to do something with our back. It needs a little something. So I'm wondering, let's see, what else do we have here? Let me check my kit of extras I've got over here. I've got all my pieces for the kit in this folder. Let's see. Oh, I know. Where are the little... We've got some little butterflies like this that we could use. What else do we have here? We've got that big butterfly. I actually think the little square ones will work well. Let me round the corners on those, if we can get them in there far enough. There we go. I have to use my scissors to finish clipping those. They're almost not quite big enough to go all the way in there. All right. Let me clean this up out of our way there for a moment. All right, and I think we can just give these a little ink and decorate the outside there. And you can definitely use all paper if you want to decorate this, but I would suggest to maybe make your tags from a lightweight cardstock so it won't be too bulky, but bulky enough. All right, let's go ahead and stagger them like that. And then we will make a closure for them. All right, and there we go. Let's add a word. What's another word that we like? How about inspiring? There we go. Let me straighten that up just a little bit. There we go. Again, we'll ink that. I love the green in this kit. Green is such a calming color. And I'm going to put this down here. And there we go. Now, there are several ways that you could go to make a top for this. You could do a single hole punch and do it that way. You could do the string closure where you make the little round piece and wrap your string around it and tie it. What I think I'm going to do is I have a lanyard punch. See if I can find it here. Here we go. And I'm going to see if it'll let me punch both of them at the same time so it will be in the same place. And I'm going to take my tags out for a moment so that I don't accidentally punch them. And we're going to put this here and try to center it the best we can. And punch. There we go. All right. I wasn't sure if my hands were going to be strong enough to punch that because sometimes my hands can be weak. All right. So we're going to put our tag back in there. Put this one back in here. And then we are going to find ourselves, let's see, I got some string. I also have maybe some small amount of lace here. Let me see what I have. Oh, I forgot I have this whole thing of lace over here. Let's see if we have a thin piece of lace that we can use. Oops, I'm knocking stuff down. Okay, see my crazy box of lace here, but I'm looking to see if I have a thin one that we can put through there. So those are pretty wide. Let's see what else we have here. Okay, I need a thin piece. If we have to, I guess we'll have to cut one. I was hoping, oh, maybe that will work right there. Let's try that. That looks about the right thickness that we need. All right. There we go. Yeah. All right, little thicker than I need, but I think it'll work. So I'm just going to take, and let's see, let me do it this way. I'm going to take and I'm going to cut this a little bit off here at the end. I may still have it a little bit too long, but we'll try here and see. And I'm going to feed it through both of them. All right, and then we're going to pull this through here. There we go. And there is your secured little tag. I'm not exactly sure what I'm calling it, but I'm just calling it a double-sided tag. That works for me. And then, of course, your closure is the lace, or, you know, like we said, you could do an elastic band around it. You could do the string tie here that you could wrap around it. Any type of lace or ribbon or, you know, twine that you want to use. So there is your double tag, and you've got double journaling spots in there with a little decoration. Let's add something right here and we will be done. I really love these butterflies. I wonder if I could just trim off the 3 here. Oops. Am I cutting 2 pieces? Nope. I just printed that one on cardstock, so it seems nope, I am cutting 2 of them. That's okay. We've already started, so we'll finish. Okay. And we might have to fold this. We'll make it fold, but again, I'm going to round the corners. Since we started doing that with the others, I think it'll just give it a more finished look if we finish it off that way. All right. I'm going to glue that down, and then we'll have to kind of see what happens when we crease it in the middle here. Hopefully it won't make it pucker. If it does, you could cut it in half if you want to. So let's see what happens here. There we go. All right, we'll give that just a moment to dry, and then we'll fold it in half. But thank you so much for joining me today. Check out the links down below. Go check out Pam at Silver and Sparkles. Check out her Etsy shop. I'm going to go ahead and gently fold this. There we go, and let's see. Oh, that doesn't look too bad at all. All right, let's go ahead and we'll put the lace back in it, and we will be finished. There we go. And then we're going to pull the back lace through it. And there you go. You can cut that down a little bit if you don't want it to be as long, but I like to have a little that I can pull it. All right. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day. Bye.